at the beginning of the modern homeschool movement, there was a stereotype, and there's always a little bit of truth to a stereotype, right? Homeschoolers were either
Sure.
kind of like left-wing, hippie, wear Birkenstocks, move to the country, blow up your TV, and raise a goat. That was one stereotype. Or they were more like right-wing, white, Christian, fundamentalist, Bible thumpers.
Let's talk really quickly about the changing demographics of the homeschool community, because you have seen it change drastically
Mhm, mhm.
in 39 years. I mean, we've seen the public school system change drastically, but homeschooling, I think, has really changed drastically.
Mhm.
Talk about that for a minute.
At the beginning of the modern homeschool movement, there was a stereotype, and there's always a little bit of truth to a stereotype, right? Homeschoolers were either
Sure.
kind of like left-wing, hippie, wear Birkenstocks, move to the country, blow up your TV, and raise a goat. That was one stereotype. Or they were more like right-wing, white, Christian, fundamentalist, Bible thumpers. All right, so
Mhm.
those stereotypes are not exactly true, but there was some truth to it. There was always the variety, but keep in mind, there was always the variety. So what we've seen over
Right.
the last 35 to 40 years, the variety is there and it's just increasing. So whereas, maybe 20, I'm just going to make up numbers here. Maybe 20 years ago, you would not have found online, well, there wasn't so much online, but anyway, you would not have found a Wiccan homeschool group, or you would not have found a
Right.
naturist homeschool group. Now you can find almost everything online. You
Right.
can find almost
Yep.
everything online in terms of philosophy. Why do I mention philosophy?
Mm.
Because the philosophy drives almost everything, right? So your
Right.
philosophy drives what kind of curriculum you choose and how you
Sure.
teach.
Sure. It
And
goes back to indoctrination.
sure, and remember, we've had John Holt was one of the first people promoting what we call homeschooling today, and he talked about unschooling. We've had that for 40 years, right? I mean, that's a
Right.
big difference from structured school at home. So we've had all these varieties. Another significant change we've seen is that many more people from different ethnicities are homeschooling, or different skin colors,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it. Way more of that than we saw before. Yes,
Hmm.
it did look very white Anglo before, and now it does not anymore. I mean, homeschooling has
Yeah.
grown tremendously, especially in the last
Yeah.
5
Very
years
diverse.
amongst Black
Yep.
families, African Americans, and Hispanics are coming. Most people don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Down when you go to the Southwest and you speak at a homeschool conference in the Southwest, people don't even specify Hispanic or not. They're just there. It's interesting. I
Right.
mean, it tells you something about our culture. But anyway, so
Yeah.
we've seen changes in that. Uh, we've seen a big variety in what's available to people online, so that kind of alters what people do and how they do it. We see
Right.
there's just a lot of changes, many, many, many changes.
Yeah. Many good changes, some not so exciting, not so good, but I think overall the changes have been really good. And I think from, personally, the change that I think is the most exciting is the acceptance of homeschooling, is that
Mhm.
people no longer look at homeschoolers and are like, "What? You're doing
Mhm.
what? You're teaching your
Mhm.
kids at home?" I mean, I'm out with my kids all the time, and this is our 13th year of homeschooling, and we lived in Southern California, and always, I mean, since my girls were in kindergarten, we always have made our way out into the grocery store and, the library, wherever. We just have done life, and we've had a couple people give us funny looks, "Oh, are you girls out of school today?" And they'll say, "No, we're homeschooled." "Oh, okay." But not so much anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
it is just so widely accepted, and not even just accepted, it's celebrated. I think more and more parents and more people, I should say, are
Mhm.
opening up their eyes to what's happening in the public schools. And they're going, "Oh," and almost always they say, "Oh, I have a neighbor who homeschools, or my niece homeschools, or my daughter homeschools." And, it's like they're excited to know someone else who's part of this club,
Mhm.
So that's really cool. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.